Welcome, everyone, to the fourth talk of this winter solstice retreat, December 2020. Every opportunity to practice together, especially in the immersion of a retreat, an intensive retreat, is a gift. Giving ourselves, giving one another, receiving to the full whatever is needed. The sufficiency of the moment at hand. We often hear the invitation to practice as if today is the first day of your life and the last. Each sit is the first and the last. Each moment, each breath. And not only as if. Immediate, transient, complete. Today brings this home in a particular way, as it's Henry's last day before his 3-month sabbatical begins. Somehow it seems fitting on this eve of the longest night, our northern hemisphere tilted away from the sun, to open the gates of our hearts, to empty our hands, and send Henry off, knowing the plan to return with the spring solstice. That's March 20th for anyone who may be counting. Actually, you can't leave. So of course, go in total freedom. We've been talking about solstice, this pause of the sun, Earth's nearest star, appearing to stand still. And Venus, in the early dark, as Kazan said, the pupil of Shakyamuni Buddha's eye. So yesterday, a member of the Sangha sent a reminder about another notable event going on in the skies. Today is the eve of what astronomers call the Great Conjunction. Jupiter and Saturn, the largest planets in our solar system, are so close, they appear as one, a so-called double planet. Their orbits haven't lapped so closely in nearly 400 years and haven't been observable this near together in the night sky since just before dawn in early March 12,026. As the Earth and Sky broadcast put it, aligning with the winter solstice on December 21st, 2020, the two planets will be just 0.1 degrees apart, less than the diameter of a full moon. From some perspectives, the planets will appear to overlap completely, creating a rare double planet effect. So close that a pinky finger at arm's length will easily cover both planets in the sky. actually, that pinky finger is the sky, is the planets, is the whole of it. Just that. The great conjunction. It's a way of describing this practice, meeting things exactly as they are, matching your true self, cutting the two into one. As Sekito put it in his Identity of Relative and Absolute, light and darkness are one, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. One walking. Your own great conjunction. Today, Henry and I are going to turn to a koan that came up in the course of our one of our Q&A conversations a couple days ago. It's called Unmon's Bright Light. So I'll begin and maybe offer just a springboard to pass into Henry's plunge. Here's the case. This is Hekigan Roku, or Blue Cliff Record, number 86. Unmon, giving instruction, said, "Everyone has their own bright light. When you look at it, you can't see it. It is complete darkness. Now, what is the bright light of you all?" He himself answered on behalf of the monks. The kitchen and the entrance gate. Sometimes it's the hall and the entrance gate. Again, he said, "It would be better not to have even the best things." There's another translation that ends, "Blessing cannot surpass nothing." This is Unmon, or Unmon, great 9th to 10th century master who lived near the end of the Tang dynasty in a time of tremendous political turmoil and loss. Out of that time, Unmon gave us the koan, "Every day is a good day." So here he is, addressing his monks with the fundamental question, who are you? What is your own bright light? What is the bright light of you all? These are one and the same question. Each of us has our own bright light. It's shining all the time, showing itself everywhere you turn. Every thought, every gesture, every sensation. We might want to rush in with our question, so why can't I see it? Unmon drops right through the bottom of the barrel of that question. Here's what it is. Complete darkness. In this one shining, everything disappears. No one seeing, nothing to see. This darkness is your own innate true blindness. Henry likened it yesterday to quantum physics, the implicate order, the unified world. It isn't something outside yourself, something to attain. It's a description of the one existence we already are. One incomparably bright light, shot through with clarity, and so entirely whole, there is nothing outside it. And of course, nothing inside it. What is the bright light of you all? Unmon answers, the kitchen and the entrance gate coming up right here. Maybe that was in view. This computer, this sound, this pen. So complete and all-consuming. You can't add anything to it. That's true darkness. This chair stands alone, absorbs everything. At the same time, everything is coming from it. This one shining. Each thing is what it is because of this, in this, as this, of this. So distinct, each thing. This body, such native perfection. How could we wish to be otherwise? I'm reminded of beauty and gratitude. The art critic Peter Sheldall says of beauty that it stops us in our tracks. When we encounter beauty, he writes, thoughts and feelings that have been flowing in one direction pause. And when they resume, they're traveling on a different trajectory. He goes on, beauty is a solvent that dissolves something else, melting it into radiance. What else? Again and again, I've heard Ryon Roshi say, see any one thing as it truly is, and you can't survive. Your separate self cannot survive. Gone, broken open. Any one thing. Such beauty. Your own bright light of all. So it's a joy to leave the last line of Unmon's teaching to Henry, to leave it all with great gratitude. Thank
you. Wow, thank you, Valerie. It's fantastic. It's it's a little. Let me just see where I can pick up, because that was just fantastic, and you're really sort of leading us to tasting it and seeing it ourselves here and now. So beautiful, so beautiful. Last time we tried this kind of a double act thing. I mean, I hope I'm really more like a footnote, just sort of a little, some sort of appendix at the end of the main thing. But last time we did it, actually, we had this great koan with Vimalakirti, where he, all these bodhisattvas have been discussing the gate of not to, and it comes to his turn, and he just sits in silence. So it's quite easy for me, really, because I just presented Vimalakirti sitting in silence. But actually, this time, I feel I sort of have to say a bit. Oh man, okay. Unmon's bright light. It's such a clear expression, isn't it, of this remembering always, please, that every koan is actually describing this moment. They're not, and when you hear teachers like Valerie and myself talking about sort of, nothing at all or is one or something, these aren't about sort of other experiences. They're about this moment here and now. It's really, for those of you who are sort of new to this and bewildered, maybe, it's, can you accept the notion that there are, in fact, let's say, different registers of your own consciousness? That we're ordinarily living in, one or two bands of consciousness, levels, strata of consciousness, and there are more. If you can accept that notion, a practice like this will start, I think, fairly quickly to make clear sense that what has been going on for thousands of years is the discovery through personal experience of simply more of what our consciousness is, more of what that really means our experience is. And really, it means more of our reality. That in fact, it is possible to know, experience this moment in really different ways. Through our settling, simply through our sinking into the here and now, we can in fact come to see that our sense of self has been not exactly just an illusion, but what we've taken it to be really been wrong. We can also come to see that our construction of the world as we know it, again, not exactly merely illusion, but very much not the whole picture. That the angle of light can change, and we suddenly see it's been transparent all along. It's been like a reflection on water, on a still lake. Suddenly we realize that this whole world as it's appearing is in fact an appearance, or a trillion appearances. And it is possible to see that. And when we see that, we realize that, essentially they're an appearance on nothing. And that the one who's been receiving, experiencing the appearance is also an appearance. And then the gulf kind of opens, and there's this utter darkness, the most benign, benevolent, beneficent sort of thing in the universe. This utter darkness that is, with these retreats I've been giving with Valerie's help, that I've called original love, that's it. When you look at it, you can't see anything. Complete darkness. And it's here. Again, we're not talking about some other place, other condition, other anything. It's right here now. Why is it so infinitely benevolent? Well, essentially because it's one and the same as the appearances that somehow come forth. It's not inert, even though it's nothing. It's dynamic, fertile, infinitely giving, and yet at the same time giving nothing, and yet giving all this. So maybe with that kind of a framework, we can get this bright light, but utterly dark. And what is it? Kitchen counter, camera, computer, floor, speech, the hum of a fridge, a bar of soap on a bathroom counter, a toothbrush in a glass. Valerie, it's amazing, really, what Valerie was saying. That one, the chair, everything's coming from the chair. That's very deep, and it's on this. This is very much it, exactly. Now, so the final line is, it would be better not to have even the best things. What an amazing line. Why on earth would it be better not to have even the best things? I love this line. I'm going to try to just sort of do a little bit of an attempt to appreciate it so we can all appreciate it, I hope. I mean, yes, you can take this on different levels. First of all, in this, more sort of a more dimensional, multi-dimensional, I mean like broader band of experience that this practice is trying to help us open up to. Um, Judgment doesn't apply. You know, once Joshua was asked something like, "How deep is the Dharma?" Forgive me for not getting this exactly word for word. And he answered, "Are you talking about the 2 of 2, the 6 of 6, or the 7 of 7? 2 foot deep, 6 foot deep, 7 foot deep. Each is entire. Can't have depth other than this depth. You know, it actually, of course, at some level, is it even deep? Is there even depth? When we've had a opening to Mu, we're given these questions: how tall is Mu? How tall is Mu? And it's clear to us. This is also, this line is clearly a most wonderful reminder also, in some sense, about attachment. How easy to get attached to, quote unquote, the best things. And then we're back in the world of preference, and the real order is invisible. And all we have to do is welcome preference, and it appears again. When we realize that preference too is how it shows up. It's also a reminder not to be attached to what would seem to be really good things like practice. Practice itself. I'm not saying don't practice. Please practice. But what about practicing without attachment? What about the joy of sharing the Dharma? The great privilege of being able to unpack, appreciate, sort of worship, you know, or love this moment in all its complexities that may be arising. Somehow there's a level where it's nothing but a wonder, even with great difficulties that may be going on. I remember one dear teacher saying a very, very problematic life of one of their children, very challenged life, and this teacher just saying this child's life was nothing but a wonder. Nothing but a wonder. How wonderful, we might say, to be able to experience even our great losses and challenges like that. But Unmon says, don't even be attached to that. His great Dharma uncle, Nansen, said, ordinary mind is the way. Ordinary mind. Maybe you can see that if we're sort of loving on the Dharma, so to speak, we're not quite free. Even the Dharma can become an attachment. And this, again, I think, like I kind of was trying to convey yesterday, somehow Zen is not about Zen. And the dharma is not about the dharma. What would that be like? To not even attach to something called awakening, to not consider that a good thing. How about that? It would be better not to have even the best things. You know, it's really, I love what Valerie was saying about this pinky finger. You know, the famous old Zen adage, the finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. True. It's a certain stage of practice that's 100% right. But deeper in practice, the finger itself is the moon. Nothing but the finger. The finger is the marvel, the treasure. But don't even get attached to that treasure. It's you know, it's like this. You could say again, certain level of practice, we open up to what this gate of not two is all about. This non-duality. But we might very easily then get kind of biased towards the non-dual, and then we've got another duality. Ordinary, doing the shopping. I want the banana, not I want the organic banana, not the non-organic banana, or the other way around, or, you know, ordinary. That is it. Not, I'm going to preference awakening and a non-dual over some sort of lesser ordinary state of affairs, state of being. Still not free if we're doing that. Zen, what does Dogen say? The principle of Zen is complete freedom. Just this. Okay, so, you know, there's a little bit of a, I mean, certainly there's a little bit of a lesson for Henry here, about to take a sabbatical, not to be sharing the Dharma for some time, which is a very, very, you know, certainly I would think a very positive thing to be doing. Fine. Dharma, in a sense, can't be shared. Yeah. And of course, in a sense, is ever shared. So here, Valerie and I are sharing the Dharma in our way, and all of us here sharing the Dharma. My only last point I just want to make, I mean, it's not really a talking point, but just on this retreat, I'm hoping that on this last day, you're starting to taste what this sitting together, even through Zoom, can be like. I hope that we're all getting patches, periods, hits of feeling this amazing communal stillness, shared clarity, shared ease that can, you know, you can get it through Zoom. It's happening. Feel out for it, feel into it, and you'll find it's there. It's really, really wonderful. You know, you can get this, you can taste this, not to get attached to it, but receive it, enjoy it as it's happening throughout this day. And I'm very, very grateful to so many of our team for helping to make this happen. And of course to Valerie for her deep, deep sitting that I'm feeling very, I think I'm feeling very clearly, and the great collective sitting going on from everybody. Thank you so much. It's really it's such a privilege and honor and treasure that we can get this, and let us all, you know, do our best to give back from the great open heart of of Dharma practice to help this world in all ways that come up for us to do so. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.